Hey Naruto fans, this is your boy Peaceful Warrior finally getting to Chapter 611 review. I know I'm late, had a few things to do this week, so forgive my tardiness. But getting back to this week's chapter, coming into it, we see B coming out the gate with a Bijudama straight for the Jubi's eye. And I'm thinking to myself, at the end of last week's chapter, when we see B do this, that the Jubi, being the originator and the founder of the Renegon, he's going to absorb the Bijudama. I mean, just as simple as that. And does who knows what to be. But then I also have to remember that the Jubi is actually not conscious. He is under the control of Obito and Madara. And I think that's one thing that we have to take into account. While we may look at the Jubi and say, as the so-called progenitor of all things, he should do this, he should do that, he should do this, he should do that. Well, the fact remains is that the Jubi, at this point, is just an enormous amount of power that is under the control of Obito and Madara. So the power of the Jubi is only going to go as far as the battle tactics and prowess of Obito and Madara. So, that being said, the Jubi just flicks the Bijudama back towards B. B goes flying. Now, at this point, one of the Biju tails begins to swoop down on top of where Naruto and Kakashi are in midair. And Naruto pushes Kakashi out of the way. And at this point, he's hit by the Jubi tail, and it turns out that he's a shadow clone, and he disappears finally, because as you all may have noticed, throughout this war, the average life of Naruto's shadow clones has increased tremendously. And I don't know if it's because they're empowered by the Kyuubi chakra that they have such tremendous stamina compared to all the time before this war, but they have been surviving blows that Naruto shadow clones have simply not come anywhere near close to withstanding prior to this war. So who knows? But it takes, a straight tail shot from a Jubi in order for one of Naruto's shadow clones to disappear. So he disappears, and as Obito is saying this, Obito is reminded about how he once saved Kakashi in the same way, but of course it was from a boulder. So Obito reasons to himself that, you know what, yeah, Naruto, you may remind me of myself, but I was young then too, so I understand. But don't worry, you're going to grow up, and pretty soon you're going to be seeing things my way. That ultimately it's all pointless. Because I know, watching some people's reviews this week, it seemed that, some people were questioning Obito's grit to remain evil after he saw Obito save Kakashi. So I just say, nah, not really. If anything, it might actually strengthen his resolve that, he's been there, done that, and eventually Naruto is going to fall to the dark side just like he did. That would be my opinion. But nevertheless, after this, Kurama disappears. B then, or the Hachibi disappears. And it's interesting because both the Hachibi and Kurama says that they need to replenish their chakra. Now, this is actually interesting because if the Jubi is indeed supposed to be the progenitor of all things, and essentially the founder of all chakra, and the source of all chakra, then how is it that a part of the Jubi needs to get more chakra? Shouldn't their chakra source be infinite because they themselves are a part of an infinite being? I mean, that just makes sense to me. How is the progenitor of all things going to depend upon the environment for life when he himself created life? So in other words, how is a part of the progenitor going to depend upon the environment when the QB, in a lot of ways, as well as the Hachibi, was a part of creating life? That makes absolutely no sense. So I'm kind of confused at that point. But anyway, Kurama and Kurama and the Hachibi leave the battlefield, and they decide that they need to replenish more chakra. Again, doesn't make sense to me. QB and the Hachibi should have infinite amounts of chakra. Period. Bar none. If there are limits to chakra, it should be the amount of chakra that they can give to a single person for a certain amount of time. Because at a certain point, there should be a distinction between the amount of chakra that a bijou is able to handle versus the amount of chakra that a human is able to handle, because humans are not infinite beings, whereas bijou are supposed to be infinite beings because they are part of the Jubi, which is the progenitor of all things, and hence is the founder of all chakra. So the Jubi has infinite chakra. So if a part of the Jubi, is a bijou, then that bijou should have infinite chakra. Plain and simple. So the amount, in my opinion, like I said, if there's a limit to the amounts of chakra for a bijou, it should be the amount of chakra that a bijou can give to a specific human at one point. Because a human is not a bijou. They're not an infinite being. They're not a part of the progenitor of all things and the founder of all chakra. You see what I'm getting at? So that's what makes bijou chakra monsters, and that's what makes human beings finite humans. But just anyway, just my little rant right then and there. But at this point, Naruto sees Obito and Madara. Obito's like, it looks like the QB chakra has run out. Again, makes no sense whatsoever. Then Naruto goes into a shadow clone. He does a shadow clone seal, and he's illustrated to look like a badass. Like, this is supposed to really mean something. And I don't know. I think, who knows? I think the reason why he may have done that is because while in Sage mode, he perhaps was able to sense the Ninja Alliance on their way. So he's just taking his stance so that he can coordinate his attacks with their attacks in the next chapter. So he already saw from a distance, or sensed from a distance, I should say, that perhaps the Ninja Alliance was already on their way. So he was just striking a pose, getting ready to do his thing along with them doing their thing. Perhaps. Hopefully, because at that point, it literally makes no sense why this dude would go into a why he would do a shadow clone seal, as if that was actually going to do something relevant to that battle at all. It makes absolutely no sense. But again, hopefully that's, my opinion. Then we see Obito. He's like, look, it doesn't matter what you want to do. At the end of the day, no jutsu in the world can stand up to the infinite Tsukuyomi. And when it's activated, you can be Hokage. Okay? So, just go away. And at this point, Obito uses the Jubi to fire, a Jubi-sized Bijudama towards Naruto, B, Kakashi, and Guy. Excuse me. And what happens at this point is that Naruto is just standing still. So in my opinion, I think, you know what I'm saying, when that clone disappeared, before that clone disappeared, he sensed that the Ninja Alliance was on their way. So I think that's why he was able to stand so confidently in that Shadow Clone Seal pose, in my opinion. Because he didn't flinch an inch. He just, even when the Bijudama was coming, he didn't flinch an inch. So it's like, apparently you know something. Because if you all know Naruto, which I'm sure you do, you know that he's very, like, reactionary. He's very knee-jerk. If something itches, he's going to scratches. He's going to scratch. If he hears some music, he's going to dance. If something looks scary, he's going to be frightened. Like, that's how he is. So for him to see a Bijudama and not to even flinch, I have to assume that he knew help was on the way and that this help was going to do something. So he was confident in the help that was coming via the Ninja Alliance. And I think that's why towards the end of the chapter, after they arrived, and it was discovered that the reason why the Bijudama missed from the Jubi was that Ino was able to temporarily control Obito using her, mind switch technique, aided by Hinata's Byakugan, probably because she couldn't see where Obito actually was. So she had to connect with Hinata's Byakugan and just trust that her Byakugan, pinpointed the exact spot of Obito to take him over to throw off the Jubi's Bijudama. So hopefully that made sense what I just said. But if it doesn't, feel free to hit the comment section up. But again, I think that's why he had so much confidence, and that's why you see him say the Ninja Alliance Jutsu. It's the most terrifying jutsu in all of the ninja world, and it's going to beat the hell out of the infinite Tsukuyomi's ass. Take that, you useless pinhead, or something like that. And Obito, like, visibly looks scared, like, oh damn, they may actually pose a threat. This battle still has to be fought. They actually may be too much for us to handle. Quick note, when Ino takes over Obito, in one of the panels, I want to make something clear. Because at first, when I first read this chapter, I didn't get it. But when I reread this chapter right before doing this actual review, I understand what happened. There's a figure, there's a panel on the very bottom of the page where it's, if you don't know what's going on, it starts on the bottom right. There's a figure that's actually grabbing hold of Obito, trying to control him. And he's like, what the hell? Like, that's the look on his face. And that's the expression that we see from the bubble, above him, like ... exclamation mark, exclamation mark. And it's a figure. And if you actually look closely at it, the figure looks like Ino. And it only takes him 2 seconds, like she said, to break it, because you see the black figure dissipate. And he's like, shh, and he breaks it. He breaks the hold of it, because the figure is holding him down by the shoulders. And the figure, like I said, looks like Ino. So I just wanted to point that out. Bottom line, this chapter was pretty good. I have to admit, there are 2 scenes that came to mind after reading this entire chapter. There is, I don't know if any of you have seen Harry Potter, but in the Order of the Phoenix, when the first generation of the Order of the Phoenix comes to the rescue of Harry and his friends, that to me reminds me about how the Konoha 11 and what remains of the Ninja Alliance are showing up to the battlefield right now. Like literally, just when Harry Potter and his friends needed help from the Death Eaters and the first generation of the Order of the Phoenix showed up, it's the same way how the Konoha 11 and the Ninja Alliance showed up to help Naruto, Guy, B, and Kakashi because they truly needed it. They clearly were overmatched. Obito, Madara, and the Jubi. The worst possible combination you can imagine. Um, and they showed up. They showed up. And hopefully they're going to show out. The second scene that I was reminded of when I watched this chapter is the Avengers. Like this literally reminded me of the Avengers. Especially that the cartoon version, Avengers the Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I don't know if any of you all know that theme song. I'm trying to find it right now. Let me see. Avengers Earth's I know. Earth's Mightiest Hero intro. Let me see. Hopefully if I play it this way I won't have to get any flack from YouTube, because I hear that, they can be pretty tough. Let me see. Hold on. Here we go. World's about to break. So not alone. Avengers, assemble. When heroes on the run, never come undone. Remember we are strong. Forever fight as one. That is the Allied Shinobi Alliance and the Konoha 11 combined with B, Naruto, Kakashi, and Guy. So hopefully the ending wasn't too cheesy. But yeah, it's been so fun chatting with you all. And I just want to say that, I'm glad that, we have our own little group that can come together on a weekly basis and just talk crap about Naruto, man. Just blow the wind and, talk about whatever it is we want to talk about. So, that's pretty good, because I know there are times when I don't really have people in a flesh and blood, distance that I can really talk to and share with. So it's good to be able to come to, a place where I can talk with people and share with people who care about, the series as much as I do. So you all take care, and I look forward to giving you our review next week. Peace.